What's going on, Delmarva? I'm Spencer Tillis.
I'm Trayvon Miles.
And this is the Delmarva Sports Insider. Coming up in just a bit in today's episode. Just 2 weeks left in the regular season for the entire Eastern Shore Baseball League. A big-time matchup this week. Purdue looking for a bounce-back win as they took on Tri-County. Highlights in just a bit.
That's right. And Aaron's or Pocomoke, depending on how you're feeling today, was back on the court after suffering their first loss in the Supreme Summer League. Could they bounce back this week? We'll stick around to find out.
And it's the second edition of the season's Bird's Nest. Trey, the speedy athlete that he is, tracked down Cedric Mullins in center field. Stick around. You are not going to want to miss this. Get to know one of these standout stars right down the road from here playing for Delmarva. And we're going to stick with a little baseball, starting with the Strutters, the team that has surprised everybody in the Eastern Shore League. They have just about locked up the regular season crown, but they had their hands full. One team that has given them fits.
One chance.
That would be Tri-County, and well, they gave them a game again this week. Strutters would take the early lead as former SU grad Jordan Gow rips this one up the first baseline. Actually hits off the bag. Chad Wine comes around to score on the play. Tri-County, though, with the answer. Brian Hall this time hits it up the middle. The shortstop with the spin. All right, then. Well, that allows J.D. Correa to score. A few plays after that. Eric Weiser this time hits a little bloop single to center. It'll find just enough room between the trio right there and falls in. Eric Laird comes around to score, a legend of Washington, by the way. Two-run lead. Strutters turn. Brian McCabe drills it deep to center. They send the runner. We have a play at the plate right there, but a great throw. And, well, Jordan Gow, his glory days might be left with him over there at SU. Doesn't have quite the speed he used to, and it cost him right there. Tri-County's defense closed it out. And how about this? They take down the previously undefeated Strutters 7-3 the final. And I tell you what, this was not as surprising as the taking down the Goliath may seem. I mean, Tri-County had played Strutters so tough at this point. Actually, really all of their games, you think about it, they were in all of them. It was about a one-run, two-run ball game throughout the first few innings. They were right there. Kind of just needed something to go their way. Finally had that game happen. Strutters, though,
long enough.
In the scheme of things, does not really matter. I mean, they still have about a 4-game lead in that division. They had such a monstrous advantage early on in the year. They look like they're going to hold on for this minute, but at least now going into the tournament, somebody knows they can beat them, and it's going to make it a lot more interesting.
That is what's most important. The team knows that they now can beat this team, right? Well, it's especially good for Tri-County. And fresh off that win, they were looking to add another big win last night when they squared off against Purdue, and they played well in this one as well. Eric Weiser, that's my man. He's going to draw the bases loaded walk. He is among the league's leaders in on-base percentage. Zach Hawk comes in on the play. Brian Block of Purdue, he would be looking to get out of the jam, and he gets the big strikeout to get up out of the second inning. But Tri-County, that team is playing some good baseball right now. They keep coming. Craig East going to slap one up the middle, 2 RBI single. Brent Adams and Pat Cole come on in to score. A couple batters later, Kevin Benguerra is going to send one to center. In come another pair. Block would finally be able to get out of the inning. He's going to get another strikeout right here. But I tell you what, Tri-County was on it all night, and Chris Holt was dealing the pill. Gets the blow-by right here for the strikeout. Play would stop for about 20 minutes after the lights went out. I don't know why they didn't pay the light bills over there. I don't know why, but it did not slow Tri-County down. They took it 7-0 the final. I'll tell you what, maybe the Strutters cut the lights out.
Maybe they did. Maybe the Thunder took the lights out.
Oh, you got a little jokes right here. All right. We're about halfway through the season. I don't want to completely shut it down, but as of right now, it looks like it'll be a 2-team race, obviously. You know, State Line, Strutters, and Tri-County. The Chicks, I'm not sure when they're going to get things together. It's funny because all year we've been kind of thinking that they would, you know, get it together, get some new players, get some different guys in there, and that talent pan out, but it seems like it has not been happening. They can't seem to get a beat on the other two teams atop them. I really like the veteran leadership that this Tri-County team has. About 99,000 hours as far as baseball experience goes for those guys. When you think about all the people that are on that team, all the older guys, but they definitely play smart, and I like them to take it a little bit longer with the Strutters.
I agree. Well, you talked to Shreves, the manager right there for Purdue Chicks, and he kind of felt like the season was coming. They had a lot of guys that were veteran last year. They had the good balance. They kind of moved on, and they didn't really have that new, fresh veteran leadership. They're really young. They have talent, but they are really, really young, and they make plays every game that kind of highlights that.
Yes, right. 2-team race, as I stated, should be shown. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings. The Strutters, as we said, still do hold that top spot, fresh off their first loss, and a dominating one at the hands of Tri-County. Just 3 games back now with a ton to play. There's still Purdue right there sitting in the middle. And the Thunder, well, they just lost Kevin Durant, so they're out of the league. Is that the wrong sport? That's the wrong sport. Okay, whatever. They are out of the league, though. They are out of the league.
Touche.
Okay.
Yeah, as we said right there. Shocker when that came out this week. I mean, they had missed about 3 straight games, and then it just came out that team completely folded. So now it officially is a 3-team race, I should say. Not that it wasn't about 2 weeks ago.
NBA,
we're gonna say that.
Eastern Shore Baseball League, kind of the same
There's
thing.
some connection right there. Well, let's transition from baseball to some of that basketball. The Maryland Supreme League Thursday night had Team Aaron's out of Pocomoke. Well, they were taking on Team Crisfield, or Short Shots out of Crisfield, I should say. And Pocomoke, well, they lost at the buzzer last week, and they were in another tight one. Crisfield battling early on. Kevin Fisher drives, drops off a dime to Jason Taylor, who lays that one home. Second half, and more good ball movement. This time Taylor finds Fisher, and this time he's going to go ahead and get the easy 2 underneath. They built up a 7-point lead with 3 minutes to play, but Tyrone Matthews went on a tear. Gets the finish, gets 2 plus 1 more for the and one, and then he gets another layup with 20 seconds left to cut the deficit down to just 3. After a turnover, it would set up this Kwame Atkins at the buzzer. My man buries it, so we head to OT. Extra session was all Pocomoke. Tyree Thornton in transition is going to be one of the best players in the Bayside right there. Great body control and one finish. Aaron's takes it 51-46 the final.
And Sussex Elite out of Indian River taking on Delmarva defenders from Sussex Tech just before the end of the half here. Watch Kevin Custis find Isaiah Bratton. He's going to knock down the mid-range to beat the buzzer. Wow, what a great shot right there. Second half, defenders with the answer. Jeremiah Brown going to find Cameron Williams with a nice jump hook in the lane. Elite would follow up with this. Jeff Dennis rising up at the top of the arc. That is good for 1, 2, 3. They take a 1-point lead late. Check this out. El Mifflin gets to the rim, misses the first one, gets his own rebound, misses the fadeaway. Then just 2 seconds left in the game. Look how far this one. Donnie Conquest from the at the buzzer. Wow.
Half court, put it in. Oh my goodness.
Hey, every time we look at the video, still looks like it's going to go in. Elite holds on to win this one 34-33.
Can you imagine if the refs would have called goaltending on that as he jumped and touched the net? In that league.
I can't imagine that.
Oh, I would have seen. Yeah, the refs would have done. But in that league, the writing that would have happened, even though it's just a summer league, that would have been.
Yes.
That would have been worth it almost for the case right there. Well, one name you do not hear in those highlights, and one you're not going to be hearing this entire year here on the shore for the most part, is a 2-sport athlete, Tyree Henry. That's because he announced he will not be returning to Stephen Decatur for his senior year. Instead, he'll be heading over the bridge to play at St. Francis. Now, the senior made his announcement on Twitter earlier this week, and this one is going to be tough for the Seahawks or pretty much any team to bounce back from, as he was easily one of the top athletes here on the shore. He had already received offers from, get this, Maryland, West Virginia, and Wagner. I'm talking big Division I programs. On top of being an incredible football player, he was also one of the top basketball stars here on the shore and would have played a huge piece for the Seahawks, who are trying to return to the title game next year. And it is going to hurt a lot for both of those programs. And, I mean, it's pretty hard to undersell it. That guy is the most dynamic football player on the shore. Definitely in the South. Marquand Green may be in the North. We'll have something to say about that. On the South, there's no – he's the best playmaker they had. And that's going to crush that team losing that beast. Because you saw it last year. As soon as he went down with the leg injury, they were a different squad altogether. They still played good, but they don't have that playbreaker guy anymore. Basketball – oddly enough, despite him being a better football player, this is going to be, big scheme of things, this might hurt more for basketball.
I agree.
Because the expectations of that basketball team are Final Four or state championship. With Tyree, I say they're in the state title game in the 3A, and I think they would have enough to get over the top. Without Tyree, I think they get over the bridge. I don't even know if they make the championship game. And the difference between that and what would happen from the football team is just monstrous. It's going to be it's tough for Seahawks Nation right now.
Yeah, we talked about this basketball-wise with Kevin. They have a great big man that can dominate here. With him and Tyree, I didn't see anything stopping that. And we talked about that last year, that he was that missing piece on that basketball team. On the bright side, we got to look at it, you know, on the side of us being stingy here and wanting him here to watch him and watch what he does on this. He's going to a great institute in Baltimore County. Going to get some big exposure up there, probably get a little bit more college offers. So that's, I think, what he's definitely looking at. I wish, honestly, a couple more guys, not stingily saying, I wish a couple more guys would kind of think in the same mindset as him when he's thinking about going to the next level, because that's what's most important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, he got this opportunity. Make no mistake. He earned this, and he should, if he has this opportunity, go, as should any other player. I mean, you need to do whatever's the best for you. I'm not going to begrudge any player for that. So best of luck over there. It just would have been really fun to have seen him. It would have been really fun to see him over here, but
I agree.
Maybe we'll get to see him in college, no doubt, right?
We were waiting since last year.
But one more year, we'll see him in college, I guess. Well, it's time for our first commercial break, but coming up next, the only athlete quick enough to catch Cedric Mullins, the guy sitting right next to me. The newest Bird's Nest edition is on the way.
Nolan Henderson, quarterback, Smyrna High School. You're watching Delmarva Sports Insider.